Hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of Bigfoot Tales. I'm your host, Dan the Bigfoot Man, coming to you from the coast of Maine. I want to take a brief moment here with this video to go over some stick work, or stick structures, whatever you want to call them, that we find out in the woods from time to time. And a lot of people question whether or not these are made by this Bigfoot creature that we claim to be roaming the backwoods of this country and the continent, making these structures. There are a lot of people that claim that they are Bigfoot structures, but we don't really have any way of knowing. But there's some pretty strange stuff out there, and I've come across some of it. And like this funny looking X that you see ahead of me that I'm going to check out. But that's for another video. These were taken last year, 2013. And I want to point out a couple of items here. This one, you see where this tree or branch, whatever you want to call it, looks like a small sapling. To me, is kind of wound up into this smaller pine tree. There's actually two pine trees side by side and then a bigger one in between them there. But they're branches from two different trees that are twisted and wound up in through that. And look around as I couldn't find any other tree nearby that was the same species as the smaller pieces that are there. One of them is an oak, and that smaller piece, I believe, is from a beech tree. And you'll see that it's actually driven into the ground. But pay attention to this stick to the left there that you saw in that individual picture. I'll be bringing that up again later. But see, this is driven in, and a lot of these structures that I found that look like they are forged frequently have cross members draped across the base of the one that's stuck into the ground. Not always, but quite often. And here's another one right next to it, which is kind of interesting, that we're going to get back into a little bit later too. Again, I want to state that we don't really have any proof that these structures are built by Bigfoot. Here's another couple of different strange structures that are seemingly perfectly normal in their construction and content. You see here, there's some pretty long pieces, trees, stuck in the bowl of that clump of trees. And right over here, you see the beginnings of another identical clump. There are some big branches, big trees laying around. And the two assemblages of these trees that are stuck in the bowls of these other trees are almost identical, size-wise and lengthwise. Is this perfectly natural? I guess it could be. I'm having a hard time, and if you had been there with me and seen this in three-dimensional rather than the two-dimensional that this video presents, you'd probably come to the same conclusion. Two so similar structures in the same area just don't seem natural. But nonetheless, that's what we have. We don't have any way of proving anything out of it. But I just wanted to share that because it's pretty interesting. We're going to be going on to another one. And again, these are all of these structures that I found were last year. So here we are coming up on this other one. It's a closer look up of that bowl, and I want to show how the two, it doesn't really show that good in the video here, but if you look at how they're hanging there in the trees. They're almost identical. It's almost like the same person put them there to present the same imagery from anybody that would be coming up on it. Notice how similar they are. And again, this is you know, something that you would consider to be entirely natural, but it is kind of strange at the same time. So these are just some of the things that we look at as we're going through the woods on our Squatch hunts, and trying to determine what exactly is what in the woods. And one of the things I want to point out is on this particular day, I actually did a kind of a round loop or circular route that kind of looped through the forest. And I'm going to be going back to the site of that first stick that was twisted and wound up through that pine tree. And we'll show you something pretty interesting. And I want to bring to mind that stick that I had showing there. I'll bring that picture up in a moment. But you know, after you spend enough time out in the woods, you start looking for different things that stick out and present themselves to you, and it makes it easier to track things. And here, as you can see coming over the riser, you can see an X formation and double X formation, kinda. But here it is. This is that strange stick combination. See how it's twisted up in through there, and there is something different that has changed since I was here earlier that day. Here I am. I just noticed it, and I'm looking, and you'll see that stick that was straight up is now broken. That was done after, and there it is there earlier that day. So, you know, was something following me? Hard to tell. Don't know how that could have been done. It was only probably about 2 hours, 2 to 2.5 hours between shots. But here's another one that I wanted to show you too. This is 2 logs with 2 cross pieces on it. So it's kind of in a shape of A with double cross pieces on it is what it looked like. Some people call that a definite sign. But again, I want to caution you, these are just things that are quite, you know, possible, natural. We don't have any way of determining for certain whether this was done by a Bigfoot. And in fact, we can't even prove that a Bigfoot exists. Although some people claim that they have them and they're on display. We won't go into that in this video. But here's the last one that I want to show you. And this kind of a teepee-shaped structure. When I actually found this earlier, it had been actually in the spring of 2013. That one piece that is in the front at an angle right there, and there's another one that goes back down the other side. That originally was all one piece. Sometime during the summer, it had been about 2 months since I'd been here last, had actually been broken. So but that's kind of an interesting arrangement of what some people would claim is natural fall. But again, as usual, we can't really tell these things for certain. So I want to caution you that when you're out in the woods and you're looking for these things, by all means record them. And you want to make sure, very sure, that what you're claiming is Bigfoot sign is quite likely that and not something else. There's just too many things that can happen naturally in the woods. And you also have to remember that all of these things that we claim are being done by Bigfoot can certainly be done by a human being. There's a bunch of other hoaxes out there that have been brought to light over the years that various people that claim to be big-time Bigfoot hunters have manipulated or arranged so that they can gain standing or reputation in the community by finding these things. So you want to be very careful, be very wary of what people are saying that they're finding in the woods. One of the things I found is that these things are going to almost always look natural. Number two, they're almost always going to be possibly built by human beings. And number three, if it is true Bigfoot sign, you'll find it in repeated incidences if you look hard enough and long enough. This sort of research isn't something that you can do overnight. I've been working in this particular area off and on a rather irregular basis for this is the third year now. And it's actually my fourth year going into what some people like to call regular Bigfoot hunting. But you know, you have to spend a lot of time in the woods. You have to learn the woods, and you have to pay very close attention to what's going on, so that you can determine when you come across these things whether or not what you're looking at is entirely natural or if it's made by normal activity. And that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed this brief moment with Bigfoot Tales, and hope you come back for more. Till then, happy squatching.